As a young man, I've always wanted to be a coach. I've spoken about it a lot. For this opportunity to come up at this stage of my career is great, but my biggest focus is not about being Chelsea manager, it's about being a winning Chelsea manager.
Chelsea are winning again, but this doesn't feel loud.
First touch, João Pedro!
And it definitely doesn't feel like a normal new manager bounce.
He's a little bit more stronger than what people might think he is, and he's new to it. He's been given a wonderful opportunity. Give him that respect that he deserves, because I don't think he's going to be anybody's puppet.
4 Premier League games, 4 wins. And suddenly, Chelsea are sitting 5th, just 1 point off the top 4, almost unnoticed. At Molineux, they didn't just beat Wolves, they dismantled them in 25 minutes. Cole Palmer scored a first-half hat-trick, something no player in Premier League history has ever done. 3 times, 2 penalties drawn not by chaos, but by precision. A third goal finished with the calm of a team that already knew the game was over. And that's the detail that should make the league uneasy. Because this Chelsea side used to panic. They used to overplay. They used to collapse the moment control slipped. Now, they punish mistakes instantly. They manage leads without fear. And their defense, once fragile, looks organized, compact, and prepared. All of this under a manager who's been in the job barely a month.
He's a confident lad. I've no doubt whatsoever that he's good enough to be Chelsea manager.
Liam Rosenior didn't arrive with hype. He didn't promise revolution. He arrived quietly and started winning quietly. Cup setbacks stole the headlines. But in the league, where patterns don't lie, Chelsea haven't lost once. Struggling players are producing again. Trust has been restored. Roles are clear. And the football feels deliberate. So this isn't really a story about 1 hat-trick, or 1 win, or even 4 wins. It's about something deeper taking shape, without the spotlight noticing. This is why this run might only be the beginning, and why the Premier League may have underestimated the Rosenior era far too early.
How are you feeling sitting here as Chelsea head coach?
Proud. Excited.
When Liam Rosenior replaced Maresca, the reaction wasn't outrage or excitement. It was indifference. No grand unveiling, no sweeping declarations, just a quiet handover at Chelsea. But here's the part that demands attention. 4 Premier League matches, 4 wins. Chelsea have taken maximum points from Rosenior's first 4 league games and sit 5th in the table, just 1 point off the top 4. And this hasn't happened in a vacuum. These results arrived while juggling EFL Cup fixtures, European commitments, and a squad still carrying the scars of instability. This wasn't a clean runway, it was turbulence from day one. Historically, that start matters. Rosenior now stands alongside Jose Mourinho, Carlo Ancelotti, and Maurizio Sarri as the only permanent Chelsea managers to win their first 4 Premier League matches in charge. That's elite company, and it's not something that happens by accident. And yet, nobody is really talking about it. On paper, Wolves 1-3 Chelsea looks like a star-led victory. Watch the game closely though, and a different story emerges. This wasn't chaos, it was control. Chelsea didn't overwhelm Wolves with volume. They dismantled them with positioning. Between the 13th and 38th minute, Chelsea locked Wolves inside their own third, not through frantic pressing, but through territorial dominance. Every mistake Wolves made happened under pressure, not coincidence. Chelsea punished those errors because they were already set up to do so. When the lead arrived, the tempo shifted, the game slowed, risks were managed. Even after Wolves pulled one back in the second half, Chelsea never looked panicked. That's not momentum football, that's structure. Yes, Palmer made history, but the system created that history. Under Rosenior, Cole Palmer doesn't look freer, he looks clearer. The change isn't just goals, it's responsibility. If Cole Palmer was the headline at Molineux, João Pedro was the mechanism. Both of Chelsea's penalties against Wolves didn't come from desperation or box flooding. They came from pressure applied in the wrong places. João Pedro repeatedly carried the ball into zones that look harmless on paper. Wide left channels, shallow edges of the box, moments where defenders think they're safe. That's the trap. Under Liam Rosenior, João Pedro isn't asked to force shots or rush final balls. He's asked to invite contact. Against Wolves, Matt Doherty and Yerson Mosquera didn't foul him because he was about to score. They fouled him because he made them hesitate, twice. This isn't coincidence, it's pattern. Chelsea repeatedly funnel possession into João Pedro's side, isolating him one-on-one, trusting his balance and close control to create indecision. Defenders step in late, arms go out, legs tangle, the fouls come. Not accidental fouls, repeated stress, predictable outcomes. And that's the difference between chaos football and engineered danger. Goals get headlines, pressure creates them. One of the quietest and most important changes under Rosenior has happened behind the goals. Andrey Santos is trusted again, not rotated out of caution, not hidden for safety. Trusted. The midfield no longer looks like three players occupying the same ideas. Distances are shorter, passing lanes are clearer, and crucially, Chelsea no longer looks stretched the moment possession is lost. Under Maresca, Chelsea often attacked with numbers but defended with confusion, midfielders unsure whether to press, hold, or drop. Under Rosenior, roles are simplified. One steps, one holds, one screens. It's not glamorous. It's functional. That's why Chelsea's transitions look calmer now. Fewer recovery sprints, fewer last-ditch tackles, fewer moments where center-backs are exposed by midfield indecision. Rosenior didn't add control. He removed confusion. For weeks, the narrative around Chelsea has been the same. They're still fragile. The Wolves game quietly challenged that. Chelsea's defensive line is tighter. The spacing between fullbacks and center-backs is more disciplined. When Wolves crossed early, Chelsea were set. When Wolves broke late, Chelsea retreated as a unit, not as individuals scrambling to recover. This isn't an elite defense yet, but it's no longer brittle. And that distinction matters. Rosenior's first major criticism came in defeat, the EFL Cup semi-final exit to Arsenal. The word used was tentative. The accusation was fear. But context matters. Chelsea were juggling league momentum, squad fatigue, and long-term priorities. Rosenior chose control over chaos. He accepted criticism to preserve structure. That's not fear, that's hierarchy. He understood where Chelsea actually are, and what truly matters first. And when a manager is willing to lose a cup tie to protect a league foundation, you start to see the bigger picture. It's tempting to explain Chelsea's run under Liam Rosenior as a bounce. Fresh voice, fresh energy, a few wins that ride the emotion. But the more you look, the harder that story becomes to sell. Because this doesn't feel like adrenaline, it feels like design. On paper, Rosenior has leaned into a 4-2-3-1 base that Chelsea already understand. That's important. No tear it all down, no ideological whiplash. The difference is what happens inside that shape. The rules Chelsea now play by. Rosenior's football has always been about combining the beautiful with the practical. Possession, yes, but possession that sets traps. At Strasbourg, the idea was to circulate, bait the press, then suddenly punch through the lines with vertical passes and quick carries. That's the subtle upgrade at Chelsea. Not more possession, more purpose. Under Maresca, Chelsea could look like a team with too many players sharing the same job at the same time, attacking in waves, then defending in questions. Rosenior's early impact is the opposite. He has simplified decision-making. The double pivot isn't just two midfielders, it's balance. One stabilizes, one connects. The number 10 isn't asked to be the whole attack. He's asked to be the finisher in the best zones. The wide players aren't drifting aimlessly. They stretch, then attack gaps once the press bites. Fullbacks don't just get forward. They either invert to support control or push to pin the opponent, depending on the matchup. That clarity is why Chelsea look less stretched in transition. It's not that they suddenly have perfect defenders, it's that the team's spacing is better, so defenders aren't living in emergency mode. One of the most misunderstood things about Rosenior is pressing. His Strasbourg side weren't manic, full-pitch hunters, but they were aggressive about winning the ball back quickly through counter-pressing and a tight mid-block. Tactical breakdowns put numbers on it. Strasbourg registered 143 high turnovers, and only PSG scored more goals from those moments. PSG with 7, Strasbourg with 5. They also conceded the fourth lowest expected goals in Ligue 1 at 21.43, which matters because it points to structural discipline rather than luck. Their pressing intensity measured at 11.8, a middle ground approach that's flexible, not reckless. That's the blueprint. Chelsea press to win the ball, but also know when to settle, hold shape, and stop the game becoming stretched. And this is where it gets dangerous. Chelsea already have pace to break quickly. League Analysis noted Chelsea had 30 fast breaks this season, among the highest in the division, meaning the squad is built to punish teams once the ball turns over. So when Rosenior adds a more controlled way of creating those moments, Chelsea become a problem. Go back to Wolves and the story makes even more sense. Yes, Palmer's hat-trick is what people will remember, but the system shows up in the sequence of events. Chelsea apply pressure in controlled zones. Wolves make bad decisions under stress. João Pedro becomes the contact magnet, winning both penalties. Palmer executes with ruthless clarity. Chelsea manage tempo after going ahead. No panic, no wild game state swings. Even the criticism Rosenior got after the Arsenal Cup defeat tells you something. People called him cautious, but he wasn't chasing applause. He was protecting the team's base, and post-match reports described his approach as overly careful, with Rosenior essentially brushing off the noise and focusing forward. That's not a coach trying to win Twitter. That's a coach building something repeatable. Put it all together. Inform attackers with Palmer back to ruthless output. A chaos trigger in João Pedro creating high-value moments. Revived midfielders with trust returning and roles clearer. A stabilizing defensive structure that's less brittle with fewer emergencies. A manager who isn't performing for headlines. And the key point is this: Chelsea are winning below their ceiling. They're not even fully fluent yet, and they're still taking maximum points. Yes, it's early, but systems don't lie. So ask yourself this: if this is Chelsea at the beginning of Rosenier's reign, what happens when the squad fully adapts? Because the scariest part? This might still be the floor.